Who could it be?
It's me, Austin!
Oh, son of a bitch!
I want to start this video off by congratulating those of you who saw the title of this video and didn't immediately dislike it without even watching it. You have proven yourself to be a much more level-headed individual than most of the third-wave feminists on the internet, or really in person for that matter. Phrases like sexist, racist, homophobic, transphobic, all of these phobics, they're very popular phrases to throw around online. It's very important to identify all of the wrong thinkers. Everyone has to toe the line, and if you don't, you are a filthy wrong thinker, and you, my friend, need to be taken down by the internet lynch mob. It's current year, goddammit, and civil discourse along with conflicting ideas are not allowed. You must join the amorphous mass of NPCs. Among the ever-growing list of controversial topics is feminism, and I can't imagine why that would be. I guess everyone just hates women and the thought of equality makes them sick. It's like everyone has coronavirus. God damn it, I already dated this video. In recent years, the term feminism has become increasingly more reviled by both men and women, not because they hate equality, but because of what feminism has become, which is nothing more than a man-bashing cult hell-bent on dismantling the patriarchy that is seemingly everywhere. I swear, it's like watching these people jump at their own shadows, but instead of just screaming out in fear, they're screaming about the patriarchy. Feminism has been doing a fantastic job at one thing, though, and that's marginalizing dissenting opinion, especially those of other women who do not belong to the cult of third-wave feminism. Join me in today's video where I discuss the perversion of feminism and take a look at how people are rejecting the idea of feminism for, well, equality and keeping femininity alive. This all started with a Twitter post of a meme which is clearly poking fun at the idea of Hollywood feeling the need to reboot or co-opt franchises that were originally starring males. It's almost as if they're saying that women aren't good enough to make compelling characters or head up a franchise without taking on a role that used to belong to a man. I decided to post an admittedly snarky comment which reads, "It's actually a secret master plan by the patriarchy to tell women they are only as good as men if they co-opt traditional male roles or franchises. Once femininity is completely erased, the feminist will have won." Or it's just lazy screenwriters. There is a strange phenomenon going on in Hollywood where we're seeing femininity being erased and replaced by masculinity. It's almost as if Hollywood directors and screenwriters' only way to attempt to make a badass female character these days is to just turn them into men. And I don't know about you, but I miss the days of badass women like Sarah Connor, Ripley, Princess Leia, or Beatrix the Bride, when being a woman was an important part of their character, and they were able to show off how insanely badass and competent they were without saying cringy things like this.
I need you to fix his suit.
The suit is literal perfection.
It will be. When it fits a woman. I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
This tweet drew the ire of a small feminist Twitter account, which I honestly can't say if they're a troll account or not, because they seem to seek out and comment on any perceived slight towards feminism, as well as take petty jabs at other commenters, as you can see here. Feminists United did not take kindly to my tweet and responded with this: "Directors offer parts, and femininity is whatever we want it to be." Feminists United claims that femininity is anything that a woman says it is, and that's simply not the case, whether you're a man or a woman. If a man said being masculine is whatever men say it is, and then proceeds to talk about how painting his nails and putting on a woman's wig is masculine, he's certainly well within his rights to do that, and I'm in no way saying people should not have that freedom because I'm not some leftist authoritarian, but he would be completely off base when it comes to what masculinity is. With all things, it's important to understand perspective and where someone's coming from with an argument, and I'm coming from the perspective that traditional standards of masculinity and femininity exist, and rightfully so. Masculinity and femininity do go beyond the physical, but beauty standards is an aspect of these subjects. In Western and American culture, we have specific visions of what we value when it comes to the two genders. Gender and which genitalia that gender possesses is also something that seems to confuse feminists united, but that's a topic for another video all in itself. As I said, there are traditional beauty standards for both men and women. When it comes to men, there are a few examples that even as a dirty, straight, cis-white male I can clearly see. Strong jawlines, rippling muscles, and strong, confident postures are things that men themselves want to have, and for the most part are what women find appealing when it comes to a man's physical appearance. Spend 10 minutes online and try to ignore the countless women drooling over Henry Cavill's portrayal of Geralt of Rivia. And honestly, I can't really blame him. I mean, fucking look at the guy. Beautiful son of a bitch. Then we have women and traditional beauty traits that are normally associated with women: long legs, smooth skin, along with soft and delicate features. This is not to say that every man and every woman must fall into these categories to be considered beautiful. Far from that, as a matter of fact, as we all have our own personal preferences in what we look for in a partner, both in terms of personality and physical appearance. This can differ on many different factors. What's traditionally considered beautiful here in America may not be the same as somewhere else in the world. But when we're discussing traditional gendered beauty standards specific to regions, cultures, nations, etc., those standards exist for a reason, and generalizations must be made when discussing them. Now, you may ask why I'm spending so much time on the looks of women. Well, kind viewer, let me tell you. Feminism was once about the liberation of women, women thinking for themselves, women not having to be ashamed of who they are or what their bodies look like. Feminism allowed women to embrace their beauty and not have to wrap themselves up in glad bags and be ashamed of their bodies. It seems like feminists have gone so far left that they have regressed to wanting to censor the female form. But of course, because I'm a man, it just means that I want to see them naked 24/7, and all I want to do is have sex with them, right? There's no possible way that I, like many others, both male and female, understand and appreciate a woman's natural beauty and can appreciate artistic expressions of femininity and the female form, right? Right? You fucking idiots. This is an argument that I see perpetuated not only by self-proclaimed feminists on Twitter, but also media organizations. A website called We Got This Covered recently published an article written by Jonathan Wright titled, "Birds of Prey Fans Mad That Characters Don't Look Sexy Enough." It's almost as if the people that make this argument have never considered it's less about people finding the characters unsexy, which they certainly are, especially compared to their counterparts from the comics, but it's about the suppression of a woman's body. The article highlights a few tweets, and one of those includes this. I think the author's tweet speaks for itself. The costume design does its best to androgynize Huntress and tries its hardest to eliminate as much femininity as possible in order to satiate the gender-neutral or gender-fluid crowd. I mean, why would anyone want to see this when you could have this? This extends past the entertainment industry. There was recently an ad for a weight loss supplement in the UK, and they had an advertisement with a fit blonde woman on it with the slogan, "Are you beach bod ready?" It seems like a reasonable advertisement to run for a workout or supplement company. You're clearly promoting a healthy lifestyle, so it only makes sense to show someone who's in good shape. But this was too much for the woke brigade to handle. The hive mind went ballistic, and they started to vandalize the advertisement, and the advertisement was eventually changed to this, because nothing says fitness like these women. Now, there's nothing wrong with them as human beings or as women, but they're certainly not the ideal model for a fitness ad. I guess they felt the need to body shame those who are in good shape and who do pride themselves on taking care of their bodies. I mean, how dare they be in better shape than I am? God forbid I have to take a look at myself in the mirror and feel motivated to change myself for the better. I guess the insane leftists who take issues with these matters are the same ones who don't think about the women who they're inadvertently shaming with this sort of behavior. Third wave feminism has done an excellent job at showing everyone that you should support women. But only the right women. Only the ones who will blindly submit to their beliefs There is no room for questioning, no space for non-believers. One of the most hilarious and recent situations was where this fine specimen of male feminist decided he wanted to attempt to get GameStop TV host Melanie Mack fired from her job because she loves the old design of Lara Croft. Eric here feels that the old design for Lara is sexist and antiquated because she has tits, and to him that is unacceptable. She should clearly be covered up. God forbid a badass lead female character shows some skin. Melanie explains that almost half of the player base of the original Tomb Raider games were actually female. She does this to prove that women love Lara Croft just as much as men do. And of course, our male feminist hero here decides that he's going to patronize Melanie by calling her title cute, and then he threatens to call her job because he disagrees with something she said on Twitter. I mean, how dare this woman have an opinion? How dare she appreciate an iconic character's original design? He is so woke, so ready to denounce the patriarchy and fight the good fight for never-ending progressiveness that he wants to have a woman in the gaming industry lose her fucking job because she likes the design of a character. Eric is one big-brained individual. Feminism is doing a fantastic job at alienating the women who actually are looking for equality, women who don't just hate men, but they have this very odd concept that sexism goes both ways, that sexism isn't this magic word that makes any critique towards women just disappear into thin air, kind of like Zoe Quinn when she gets a new round of suckers to donate to her next con job. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but women like Tara here sees the danger in sexism and tweeted this out. These billboards are up in the UK and I can totally understand why it's okay. Because it's okay to be sexist towards men. So as long as it's towards men, it's fine. Hell, we can't even get abused correctly without being called the sexist ones. Just take a look at this tweet from Steph here talking about the recent situation with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard where she was recorded abusing Johnny Depp. The perversion of feminism runs deep with these people. Like, look at this Taylor Swift fan here. I mean, Jesus Christ, just look at this. It's payback to men? Yes, because we all felt Amber's hand collectively hitting us as she abused him. What a great way to fight the patriarchy. Domestic abuse. Classic. Alright, let's bring this back to birds of prey in the entertainment industry. If you criticize this movie, you are a sexist. You clearly have a problem with strong female characters. If you have something negative to say, you must clearly be a toxic male who is triggered, right? Mara, I'm so sorry. I hate to break it to you, but your opinion doesn't matter on this. You are a woman, and you have to like the film because you're a woman. The Mary Sue says that men hate the movie. So I'm so sorry, but your opinion holds no weight here because the Mary Sue likes to forget that women have a mind of their own. Women can think for themselves. Women might have different opinions than them. The issue is not equality. No one is saying that they don't want equality. The BBC released an article that includes some information along with these infographics. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. But it shows that there are less women who would consider themselves a feminist, but they still support equality. Feminism has become increasingly anti-male and increasingly less pro-equality. Women have become disenfranchised with feminism, yet the number of those striving for equality has not budged, and this is because third-wave feminism has become so wrapped up in pushing farther and farther left with zero regard for those that they're marginalizing. It's gotten to a point where we have these idiotic articles like, I'm all for feminism, but it's kind of making it harder to date, where the author praises feminism for making men feel like they can't approach women because they're afraid of getting called sexist. Or this article titled The Dangerous Rise of Men Who Won't Date Woke Women, in which the author complains about men not wanting to date women who won't stop blabbering on about how men are shit. What a shocking discovery. This is an insane revelation. I don't know how we haven't figured this out before. Before I wrap up this video, I want to be very clear on a few things. I can understand the argument of women not having to fit inside certain boxes to be considered a woman. A woman with no hair, a woman with short hair is just as much of a woman as somebody who has long hair, like Rapunzel. The size of your breasts and how much skin you want to show has nothing to do with your level of femininity. I am in no way telling women, or men for that matter, what they need to look like, how they need to behave, and what they need to think. My issue comes from the shaming of traditional beauty standards for women. The artist for this image here is J. Scott Campbell, and he's a very popular comic book artist. He has recently been receiving a ton of hate for his depictions of women because feminists claim that they're objectifying women. The leftist logic is so ass backwards because now they're basically just shaming women who do look like this, who do have slender figures. Or is it only sexist because a man's drawing the images? What really bothers me is that these self-proclaimed feminists are hurting the push for equality. When people hear the word feminism now, they just stop listening because they just expect to hear more man-hating bullshit. But third-wave feminists don't care. They are so self-obsessed and worried about being woken up that they can't see the damage that they're doing for people pushing for equality. The prevalence of race and gender-swapping characters in films and TV show is not a sign of progression, it's a sign of tokenism. What Hollywood is telling you is that women can't be compelling characters if they are not filling the roles that a man would take. They are so creatively bankrupt that all they can do is take something like Ghostbusters and just throw women into it and say, you need to like this or you're sexist. This, of course, is erasing any female dissent. There are women out there who don't like these kinds of films or TV shows, but by saying that these projects fail solely because of toxic male masculinity, it silences the voices of women who think that they're garbage. There are countless amazing female characters in fiction that can be explored, yet Hollywood chooses brand recognition over putting in the legwork to develop new female characters or new female role models. Feminism has turned its back on a large number of women and has become antithetical to the goal of equality. As always, I would love to hear what you think about this in the comments below. I would ask that the discussion remain civil, as throwing vile insults at one another doesn't really help, but who am I kidding? This is the internet. If you liked the video, leave a like and consider subscribing, and if you disliked it, you know what to do. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.